Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Slightly Relatable, the podcast where we talk about everything.
Yeah, we're back with another great episode for the few schizophrenics that actually decide to watch us. And I'm glad to cater to an entirely schizophrenic audience.
Not the clips. The people who actually take the time to sit down and watch the full hour.
Yeah, I know.
Shouts out to you people.
Yeah, those people with our 11 views, they're true comrades that are with you. You know, if I was on the Battle of the Somme, I want you guys by my side watching my back, not these clip posers.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think in a few years, we're gonna find the true fans, the people who were. I was watching you when it was 20 views. When it'll be like 120,000 views.
Well, we have that one guy. Who's that guy that always defends us in the Instagram comments? Shout out to that guy again because I just loved him.
Frank Smith.
Whose
face looks like a flower vase.
He has a funhouse mirror, kind of like Apple MacBook 2006 kind of effects on him.
Shouts out Frank Smith.
Whenever we get haters, he's like that guy that plays the Charlie Brown piano that you blocked.
I think it's one word. It's like some shitty burner account, it looks like. But he always supports us, so.
It's just so many Frank Smiths.
Go to our followers. It might be in our followers.
I don't know if he'll be on, if you even follow.
Who knows? Frank Smith, shouts out to him. Shouts out to Frank Smith,
He doesn't even follow us here.
He doesn't even follow us, but nonetheless, good
shout out to that guy. He's been with us since Joe's pool room.
Correct. He was with us before that, man. He was with us arguing all the time and always had our back. So shout out Frank Smith.
Great guy.
I'm looking at the Sixers flag. We'll start with the Philadelphia 76ers. Embiid officially shut down for the rest of the season. The Sixers have one of the worst records in the NBA. I think they are top 6, and if they finish top 6, they get the Thunder's pick and have a chance to get the number 1 pick in the draft. So they shut down Embiid. To me, it feels a little bit like a tank move. I feel like we're going back in the process, and he's out. It's the Sixers are a disgrace.
The Christians have this idea that all humans are deplorable, and it was through God becoming man, and he died for our sins, and we are redeemed. We had someone like this called Sam Hinkie, and they said he died for our sins, but we're all going to hell with the way this is going. This process has to be a failure. Everything has not worked. We drafted 2 guys in the first round that don't know how to shoot the ball. And Embiid.
Not only did we draft 2 guys in the first round, we drafted 2 guys number 1 overall.
Yeah,
it's one. The first round's one thing, but to do it with the top pick in the draft twice, it's pretty abysmal.
So the Sixers fans were in hell right now, and I mean the commissioner of the NBA is Nosferatu. And I'm just so done with this league. I'm done with the Sixers. I'm done with basketball overall. I'm done with how squeaky it sounds when they're playing. I'm done with them just lobbing threes. Steph Curry broke the entire league, and I can't blame him. He's just that good. But everyone else just trying to copy him has ruined basketball. Not that it was ever that good. It was like the most rigged by the mob of all the sports. But still, we had a lot of hope. For a long time, it seemed like the Sixers were this big thing tying the city together, and it's just been nothing but L's after L's ever since Kawhi Leonard did the Daytona 500 and did 6,000 laps around the rim before going in. And those were our dreams crushed, just like a Talladega driver just flies into the stands and their head gets chopped off by the windshield. That was our hopes and dreams. So
to be the Kawhi Leonard loss is right there. Kawhi Leonard loss might be the toughest loss I've ever endured as a Philadelphia fan. I don't know, Joe, about
Definitely
you.
Recently.
It's in my top 3. I think the Phillies losing to the Diamondbacks. The Phillies losing to the Diamondbacks is up there.
I would have said us losing the Super Bowl to the Chiefs, but now that we beat the Chiefs,
the Chiefs didn't hurt me as much because I was I knew going into it was going to be a tough game the first time. So it was like. It was the way we lost. Yeah, it was a shitty way to lose. But also at the beginning of that year, I didn't expect the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl. So to me, it was kind of like a gravy train ride. And it was the same thing with the Phillies that you're getting to the World Series. The Phillies World Series loss to the Astros actually hurt me more than the Eagles losing to the Chiefs.
Now, I think my most painful has to be Game 5, 2011, Phillies versus Cardinals, where Roy Halladay throws. He only allows 1 run.
And it was in the first inning. In the first inning.
And then it ends and doesn't Ryan Howard like die trying to like hustle to the
Yeah.
first, and
Yeah.
Rafael
That was just,
Basically
call.
the end of his career.
that was like if you could condense that whole fun era of Phillies into one game, and that was like the collapse. That was like
Yeah.
the building 7 falling down. It was just
Well, that
over at
was,
point.
you know,
it was a
and-
controlled demolition.
It was a great, you know, it was, and they had a really good couple of years, but Ruben Amaro did a really, really poor job as the manager and just kept trading away all your farm system for, you know, aging pitchers, and they just never really got the lineup any better. I know they brought in like Hunter Pence, but it was
I loved how goofy
just
he played the
collapse.
game, yet he was still so good. I
Very
love that
unorthodox.
guy.
This
I
is
love
very
that guy.
weird.
It's tough to blame the strategy for either the Sixers or the Phillies, though, right? Because like the Phillies in the 08, when they won in 08, they were like, all right, we're going all out for the next couple of years because your window gets smaller and smaller as these players get older and as contracts get bigger. I mean, baseball has the excuse of, well, we can pay players whatever the fuck we want because
It's like
it's
soccer.
baseball. There's no fucking cap. So, so there's that. But at the same time, like they were bringing in really good players. I think by the time we got to like Hunter Pence, it was kind of already on the downturn
Yeah.
and not really worth doing at that point. But that's in hindsight.
Well,
You can't really make that
it was
call.
crazy because in 2008 they won it, and every year after that till 2011 they got more
Yeah,
regular season
steadily
losses
declined.
and then
Yeah.
got less far in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
But the
Sounds
Sixers
similar
too.
to now,
Sixers-
unfortunately.
The Sixers too, though. I mean, yes, you're right. Two top overall picks couldn't shoot, couldn't play, aren't very good. I me're neither one of them are.
And
They're like
Okafor.
barely role players right now.
And
Okafor's another one.
Okafor's another one. They
A lot of
drafted
missed
high.
picks. But at the same time, if you look at these like championship
Okafor,
teams that have continued success throughout like multiple seasons, the Warriors being one of them. We're seeing the Thunder now coming up looking similar to them. They were built through the draft.
Yeah.
And so like this idea that you can build a team the way that like the Suns have and the way, I mean, kind of now we have with bringing in guys like Harden and PG and trying to put like a big 3 or a big 4 together hasn't really worked. What has worked is teams that have built through the draft, and that and not just like for 1
Celtics?
year. Yeah, Celtics are another great example. I'm just for continued success, you're supposed to build through the draft, and you have to draft well. The easiest way to do that is to have a high draft pick.
No, and you get some, you get some bounces your way. Like the Warriors drafted Klay Thompson, and he worked out. Like guys, you need guys. And
We've had two guys. We have 2 guys in that were drafted in the 20s that are going to be. I mean,
Maxey.
maybe a little bit early on McCain, but he could be as close to or maybe as good as Maxey.
Yeah,
He's drafted like 22 or something like that.
How do you feel about them? Like the Sixers kind of going into a tank. Do you hate it at
This
this
season?
point?
This
like,
season, no.
No, just let it go at this point, right? Get Embiid healthy if you can, and try and get the top pick for Cooper Flag.
This season, I don't hate it at all. I think if you're like trading Embiid in the offseason and like trading PG and trading out like, if you're basically trading away the
Are
whole
you going
the
to
whole
that though?
roster.
Are you willing? You're going to be listening to offers for Embiid at this point?
No, I'm not. I mean, because you're not going to get the value because of where
agree.
he is in his career. If he has a big season next year and actually plays through the season, then maybe you can work out a deal if it's not getting it done. Like if you actually see him, this is the hardest thing with Embiid is if you actually see him get through a regular season and get through the playoffs, and then we can see he's not good enough. Then yeah, you can trade that piece if you don't think you're close enough. But I think if he's healthy in the playoffs, and that was the goal this season was just get him there, then he is good enough. We've seen it. He's an MVP. He was for most of his career a top 3 player in the world.
When healthy, he's arguably the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Stop with these conspiracy theories. Everyone knows the right move is to be reactionary, to sell low and buy high.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I like the Paul George. Can we get any?
Can we get Howie Roseman to go run the Sixers?
Can we? Yeah. Who's? Can we get Ginobili? Is he still around? Let's get him. Like
Howie Roseman could fix anything. He could
Yeah.
fix our debt crisis if he wanted to.
Yeah, all this bullshit about the Sixers Stadium. Where's it going to be? Is it going to be? Is it going to do ethnic cleansing of Chinese people? Well, no, it is. It is. Is it Chinatown? Is it? And then they're back where they start. They deserve to be in a rec center. They deserve to just be street ball. That because this has crushed all the dreams. If it wasn't for the Eagles, this town would be on total suicide watch. Luckily, the Eagles can
And the
make us
Phillies.
endure
Yeah.
that. Hold your horses there, okay? They just stabbed us in the fucking dick these last few seasons.
The Phillies have been very much a roller coaster, but at least they've given us something to actually look forward to at the beginning of the
At
season.
least we have a superstar who plays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if he does occasionally get hurt, he doesn't get hurt like Embiid does.
Yeah, at least there's
And
no
he even
there's
still
no
tries
DH
to come
for
back.
Embiid.
The guy played with a fucking torn ligament in his elbow.
Yeah. Unfortunately, basketball doesn't have a DH, so you can't
No.
can't really send Embiid to shoot free throws for everybody or something like that.
I just want Harper to win so bad.
Yeah.
I just keep saying it, but like Harper's the one I want more than anybody. Like I take Phillies World Series over Eagles Super Bowl. Phillies just like baseball's my favorite sport, so and Harper just embodies the city so much.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely embraced the city. Can't you make the same argument for Embiid, though? I mean, he's
Yeah.
playing through these injuries. We're all frustrated. We were talking before we
Yeah.
started recording. We're all frustrated with his injuries. He's more frustrated than any of us. And he's playing through all of them. It's a lot of pain he has to deal with.
I get
and that
that.
just comes with being an athlete and getting paid what he gets paid.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how fans can't have the same attitude about Embiid that they have about Harper.
I get what you're saying, but you also have to look at how long this has been going on, and they just bought no goodwill when the fact that they have not done dick shit ever in the
It's
playoffs.
ownership.
I think that's. I think that's. I was gonna say. I think a big part of it is like Harper had the clutch moment to get them to the World Series. They've seen Harper get to a championship. They didn't win it, but Embiid, it's second round and done. It's like it's become a revolving door of the same shit, and like we've been waiting just longer.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference is probably just Embiid's conditioning. Fourth quarter performances in the playoff runs haven't been consistent with like what Harper's done in those clutch moments. But at the same time, basketball is a much more like intense game than baseball is in terms of like conditioning.
And he has this reputation, whether earned or not, of being a giant flopper. And in the playoffs, the refs swallow their whistles, and all of a sudden, the bullshit doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like the Sixers had 2 times, in my opinion, that they should have 100% gone to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hawks, 100%. They blew the 26-point lead the one game, and just and Simmons just obviously pussied
It was
out
the
of
death
one.
of his career.
Yeah,
In
it was.
one- in
it
one
was.
pass
It
layup.
mentally crippled him, and
He
never
had
got over it.
defenders before that game.
Yep.
He had a lot of them. I was
How
one
do
of
you
them.
get
I was
that
one of them. I
mentally
was
ill
always-
as a player. It's like you have to realize that the hate you get for not even trying the shot is worse than what you're afraid that you're going to get booed if you try and fail. Yeah. It's a lot worse to not even try than to try and fail.
Yeah, I always
we like
said
players that suck if they run into a brick wall at full speed. They don't even have to be good. They just have
Aaron
to try.
Rowan, TJ McConnell. I mean, we have a fucking
As
million
long as
of
you
them.
try,
They're not even
well-
good. They're just like fine, but they try hard.
And Simmons if Simmons just shot the fucking ball, he would have been
thought he
so
knew better
much
than
more
fans.
dominant. He would have been so much more dominant because they would have had to play up on him, and he could just blew by anybody.
When he was playing point guard, I mean, there were defenses that were playing him at the free throw line anytime because they were afraid of him driving, rightly so. He was very good getting to the hole, and
he was big and athletic, and he would do everything, and he could pass.
And it was good for him for certain passing lanes, but it closed a lot of passing lanes, especially like easy buckets. The only ones that really opened were like 3-point, and if you have good perimeter defenders, it doesn't really do anything for you for the passing.
No, and if you don't have really good 3-point shooters, it really doesn't do anything either.
Yeah.
Because that's the other reason why, Embiid is a great player, and he is injured, and like you're saying, I'm sure they're frustrated, but with this whole process era, I mean, Philly fans kind of have a reputation for being deranged lunatic psychopaths that will go to a player's house and try and kill them. So that being said, we have never been on better behavior and more patient than we were during the whole process era, and then for multiple years of Simmons not shooting the ball, and you were talking about here comes his practice. There's his practice training video.
Yeah, all the practice videos of him.
And-
Shoot 300 threes in practice videos.
All I'm
and not
saying
one in
is
a
that the
game.
lunatic Philly fans have never been more gentle with the kid gloves with anyone ever. And what did we get rewarded for that? No, we found the most bitch-made player that has ever existed in basketball or really any sports.
Yeah, and I just think a lot of it came down to 2. It was, as we see, his 3-point.
These are really
and he had a good
shooting
shooting
stroke.
stroke.
Is this
It
an
wasn't
hour long?
He had a good shooting stroke, and I remember him in summer league. I've never seen, if you could pull up his summer league highlights the first year, he was shooting mid-range shots. I don't know if you remember that, but he was shooting a lot of mid-range shots.
Yeah, he was pretty good in the mid-range.
Ben Simmons, just look up his summer league highlights if you can real quick, and show Kenny, and you'll see it. You see, these are his 3-point highlights. It looked like he's hitting the game-winning fucking shot when you look at the crowd with these 3-pointers. It was just so stupid. I don't know. I never understood it with him not shooting the ball. He would have been I think he just shined. I never got it. He just shined away from shooting the ball. It never made sense to me. And he had a good mid-range game.
It just would have opened up so much of his
like a
game.
Wingstop commercial. What's with that?
But I think too, I think we had poor coaches with him that didn't help him develop. I think Doc Rivers is a shitty coach, and I think Brett Brown wasn't a good coach. So it's You don't realize how much coaching,
This is what's
how
so
much
annoying about
how important
basketball.
coaching
It feels
is.
like there's a dearth of talent everywhere. There's not that many good players. There's not that many good coaches. Everyone's like recycling through the whole league. It's just
The league stinks. I mean, the NBA product has just gone absolute to shit.
The product definitely has gone to shit.
It's going to shit. There's no defense, and all they do is chuck threes the whole game.
even their fucking website won't even work.
Yeah.
Fuck these bums. 2016 highlights.
Dude, I'm telling you, I remember watching this. And I was like, holy fuck, we got the next LeBron.
We got the next Michael Carter Williams.
I was literally like, we got the next LeBron. This dude's going to be so fucking good. And then he just stunk. There you go, mid-range, bang. Like, if he would have just did that in this game, he didn't even have to shoot threes. Great pass there.
Yeah.
Guy was a fucking stud.
Yeah, he had so
Guy
much
was
potential.
a fucking stud.
Dude, fucking
like,
no-look passes, too.
look at this. Like, his vision was just so good. His defense was just as good.
That's the stuff you can't teach, too, is like the vision, the
Look at his passing.
IQ. Like,
Fucking so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the passing. Like
Unbelievable,
When he
dude.
drove to the basket back when they played him, like afraid that he might actually
Look
shoot.
at that.
He just like fucking like vibrated like a particle going through a fucking he would just get all the way through. But I didn't even know this was possible.
Look at this.
We were all so hyped for him for a fucking reason. And
He was literally like Jason Williams, but like mixed with like LeBron. It was like insane.
So yeah, I mean, you cannot call the Sixers team of the last decade and a half.
Joe, turn it off. I can't
And
take it.
anything-
what the hell is that?
I'm upset watching it because I'm like, this dude should have been carrying us to a championship.
I'm trying to Luwawu Chalamet. That's the fucking guy. 20. Remember him? He was drafted in the same draft.
Yeah.
Luwawu
Timothy
Chalamet. Yeah.
Luau, wherever the fuck his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy scored you negative points. He was
Yeah,
fucking
he did.
horrible.
He sucked.
That guy lost you points.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know where to go with the Sixers. The Sixers, to me, just feel very stale at this point. It's like their time had, and we talk about Simmons. Their best opportunity was against the Raptors, and that was, because Simmons could.
It was the best team.
It was the best team, and it was the best situation for everybody because Simmons didn't have to shoot at the end of the game. It was just like he was
didn't
your
have to handle the
guard.
ball.
He was your one, and he just facilitated and defended like the best player on the other team.
Yeah.
He was an unbelievable defender too. People don't talk about Simmons' defense.
Well, I mean, I made the case. We were both Simmons defenders, obviously, but I made the case that he should have been up for Defensive Player of the Year half the seasons he was with the Sixers at least.
Did you tell our listeners about your jersey curse?
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can find the full list. But yeah, my jersey curse is very long. Simmons is on it, but basically, it started with my dad.
Started with Pelly Lindbergh.
My
and
dad
crashed his
bought-
Porsche into a tree and died.
Well, there's one similar. My dad bought us blank Phillies jerseys for the 08 run.
Oh, you got Halliday on it.
My dad bought us blank jerseys for the 08 Phillies run. And, my parents are wearing it because they're, they don't really care. But, like, I'm a big Philly fan at that point in my life. Like, and, we're teenagers, but getting a little bit older. So, like, my sports fandom is turned on. I don't wear it. It's a blank jersey. I don't want to wear a blank jersey. Who fucking wears a blank jersey? So my dad gets mad, and he returns the jerseys. And nobody fucking wears them. So we go out and buy some other jerseys. First one I end up getting was Mike Richards after he signs a 12-year contract with the Flyers, and the next offseason he's traded. The next one I get...
Yeah, he did a lot of coke.
Yeah,
He had a good time out in the scene.
Had a big
the
drug
scenes of
problem. I'm going to
Philadelphia.
miss a few, but there's a lot here. So the next couple I had were Shady and Deshaun, who were traded while I was away at basic training. Shady was traded for Kiko Alonso. Awful trade.
Shakiko, he used to wear the cutoffs.
Deshaun was released, which is insane.
Yeah, but his gang ties.
At least he
though.
came back.
It's stupid. Macklin, I won at a bar raffle, and he was let go, not re-signed the following offseason.
Jeremy Macklin was such like an underrated receiver.
so
Very
Yeah.
underrated. Very bad with other teams, but for us, he was very
Yeah.
underrated.
Great hands.
So I had Halliday, which I could wear for a long time, and I do still currently wear. But
Absolutely. No, you can
going
wear-
along
you
with
can
the
wear
rest
that.
of. Here's the thing: is
Just don't
so
get
I
in a
had
plane with
I had a Simmons, and I could wear that for a while, and I was happy to wear it. And then he turned to complete shit.
Did you
and
put
then we
it
got
on
rid of
that
him.
day, and then the weather suddenly got real bad on his plane or something?
Maybe I didn't notice
Don't wear
that
the Halliday
happening.
jersey on a plane.
Maybe I didn't know. I have done that actually
Jesus Christ.
before the accident, though.
I'd get off the plane.
Final
Stewardess, I'm going to get the next one.
The Simmons jersey actually burned. I go away for March Madness, up in the Poconos with my cousins every year to watch the end of the tournament.
Yeah,
and we had
we dumped a bunch of beer on it in the parking lot. And
we just had a bonfire where we all burned our jerseys.
That's good. I
Because
like
we
that.
also bought them all together too. But anyway, that was one of them. What are the other jerseys I have? if you're a soccer guy, I had a Gianluigi Buffon jersey for Juventus. Juventus is my soccer team. My dad's my dad's from Italy.
Left shortly after.
So we follow them. And
Juventus
Buffon,
guy, huh?
Buffon before Ronaldo. By the way, I've been a Juventus fan since I was a kid.
I believe that. When they had Pogba.
Yeah, well, back when they had Pirlo, who's my favorite player of all time, had a Gianluigi Buffon jersey. He played like 30 years in professional soccer. A year after I got his jersey, he goes to PSG. Almost every single year.
Italy's goalie till he was like 45.
So he came up, I think, with Parma or some other like lesser team, and then Juve bought his contract like 4 years into his career, like really early on. He was a young guy, but he was their goal. He's basically like with them forever. He's like Brodeur with the Devils.
Yes.
There's an Italian soccer team named Parma.
Yeah, it's named after a city, bud.
That's where the cheese comes from.
Yes.
Well, is that who
Nothing gets by you.
Interesting.
Nothing gets by you.
Wow, Ken. You want to go through some other cities?
Way to do the math.
Curious.
You want to guess where Pecorino Romano's from?
Pecorino Romano. Wow, interesting.
But yeah, those are I think most of the jerseys I've had. I also got a Wentz jersey after they won the Super Bowl. For me and my dad, thinking like this is going to break it because he's like a second overall pick. He's a great quarterback, he had MVP seasons, and then a year later he's traded.
It did not.
Yeah,
Wentz's peak
really
was
didn't
so
work
good.
out. His peak was very good.
Wentz's peak was unbelievable.
The Super Bowl run was like a second edition of his like MVP season. He just got hurt like 11 weeks into the season.
Listen, I thought we don't win the Super Bowl without Wentz. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't see Nick Foles jumping in and going.
He doesn't get us a first overall seed.
No.
I do, because look what he did next year. He won those 4 straight games.
Well, that was post winning a Super Bowl. The confidence level after winning a Super Bowl is a little different.
Yeah.
What about his?
Look what he did with the Jags.
Look what he did with who else was he with? He was with the Bears.
What about his 27 touchdown 2
Colts, I
interception
think?
season?
With Chip Kelly?
Yeah, Foles is super.
What did they do that year?
Lost in the first round to the fucking Saints, and he
up.
was awful in that game until like the fourth quarter.
Until the right when the
Riley Cooper stepped up and had to make some big plays in that game.
Yeah, Cooper being good in those years was just very weird. He wasn't that good. He just made big plays.
He was good at Florida. He was good with Tebow.
Sure.
It's crazy.
Said some words he's not allowed to.
He was good at the Kenny Chesney concert. He puts the R in receiver.
But yeah, that is my mostly extensive. I know I'm missing a few because there was a lot in there. That's my mostly extensive jersey curse. So now I don't buy jerseys because I think if I buy a jersey for a player, something bad is going to happen to them. They're going to get released. They're going to get traded. They'll die in a plane crash like Roy Halladay. R.I.P. the GOAT. So now I don't buy jerseys. I just buy expensive things that are pitcher, Phillies. Yeah.
Ever?
Who else? Carlton?
Steve Carlton's probably one.
You didn't watch him play.
Okay, guys I watch play.
Yeah.
Best Phillies pitchers of my time. I mean, skill level wise, I guess, but Cliff Lee in his peak was fucking unbelievable. Cliff Lee almost single-handedly won the World Series against the Yankees.
True. He was still the 2 that year.
All right.
Roy Halladay threw a perfect game and a no-hitter in the playoffs.
Right,
no, not the first year. This is 2009 when Lee came here first.
Oh, yeah.
His first
I'm
game
going
here.
to call an audible right here, and this is what you have
Cole
to do.
Hamels, too.
Cole
Hamels.
They were on the same roster at the same time.
Cole Hamels, I mean.
Speaking of pitchers, none of us ever watch fucking play. You need to pull up this Wikipedia page right now. Look up Rube Waddell.
What nonsense is this?
He was a contemporary of Cy Young, but he was like better. But you just have to read this lunatic, and let's see. All right. He was he played with the Louisville Colonels, the Pittsburgh Pirates, Chicago Orphans.
What the fuck? Can we look at Chicago Orphans for a sec?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck were they? They became the Cubs. Why were they called the Orphans?
They were probably like They were probably like a traveling team or something, and they had no home or something. That's probably what they were getting at.
Okay, well that's still an unfortunate name for that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
The Chicago Leukemia.
They were called the Orphans for
Foundation.
4 years. That's so weird.
But anyway. They're called the Orphans. We don't know why they're called the Orphans.
The Miami AIDS.
They're called the Orphans.
Waddell is best remembered for his highly eccentric behavior and being a remarkably dominant strikeout pitcher in an era where batters were expert at making contact, blah, 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 blah. All right, scroll down. Early life, he was from Bradford, PA, and he grew up in Prospect, Pennsylvania. He was a decidedly different sort of child. At the age of 3, he wandered over to a local fire station and stayed there for several years. He did not attend school often. He was left-handed and strengthened his arm as a child by throwing rocks at birds he encountered while working on his family's land. He also worked on mining and drilling sites as a youngster, which helped his conditioning. He was notably unpredictable. He once left the game once left the middle of the game to go fishing.
What?
He had a long-standing fascination with fire trucks and ran off the field to chase them.
This guy was autistic in the 80s or in the 1880s. Yeah.
I have a better one for you. You want to look this guy up? Look up Ray Caldwell. Baseball player Ray Caldwell. So this guy Ray Caldwell.
What is it with these fucking Cubs?
Oh, I didn't know. Is that the Indians or the Cubs? Cleveland Indians.
Big C
yeah.
on his,
so this guy Ray Caldwell
yeah.
was in a game and got struck by lightning during the game and never came out of the game. He finished the game. That's an all-time fucking stat right there.
That is the ultimate boomer, you pussy millennials. I used to walk both uphill both ways. And it sounds made up. I got struck by lightning. I didn't quit. What is this load management?
What do we got, Joe? Caldwell was struck by lightning while playing for the Cleveland Indians, and they were playing against Philadelphia Athletics in 1919. Despite being knocked unconscious, he refused to leave the game. That's fucking dedication right there. Got struck by lightning, stayed in the game, finished the game. They just don't make them like they used to.
Innings.
What's that?
That's insane. Well, he pitched the whole game, really. He got struck with 1 out left in the game. What the fuck?
It's not impeccable timing, if you ask me. But, hey.
He went 5-1 with a 1.71 ERA.
Pretty good.
This guy had some juice.
Yeah.
But was this like still the
Supercharged.
20 and 10.
Or like was everyone's ERA low? I know, like, I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean,
the dead ball, it's more the dead ball era. So, yeah, it was probably lower. You guys like Walter Johnson. Like, look up Walter Johnson if you want to see stats. I mean, I think the guy went 35-3 1 year with like a fucking .52 ERA.
Look at those fucking hats.
Yeah. A lot of people put Walter Johnson as a GOAT. He had 417 wins. Obviously, a different time.
No Jackie Robinson to deal with. It's a lot easier.
Career ERA 217, and he pitched fucking over 700
6,000 innings. What the fuck?
Like, Jesus Christ.
6,000 innings. Didn't even give up 100 home runs. What the fuck?
Well, home runs were different back then because the fields were so much bigger. Like, they were way bigger because they didn't like home runs. They didn't like home runs back in the day.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose the ball.
They said home runs were boring because the guy just like jogged around the league. They liked seeing like the ball in play.
I want to see small
fences
balls.
Fences were like 550 fucking feet in center field. It was like
What
insane.
the fuck?
Well, look up the Polo Grounds. Did you ever see the Polo Grounds dimensions?
No.
Look up the dimensions of the Polo Grounds where the Giants used to play. The Polo Grounds is the wildest stadium ever. Left field line 277, dead center was like 500 feet. If we can get if you can get a picture of like if you get a picture of it like over the top.
Go down.
Like, that's the fucking dimensions of the field.
Fuck.
Yeah. Place is wild up in Queens, New York.
As compared to regular fields here.
Mm-hmm.
This is insane.
Yeah.
Imagine being a right or left fielder having to play in a box.
So, like, did you ever see the
fuck?
infamous catch by Willie Mays that's always talked about? It was there. And it would have been a home run in any other fucking stadium, but...
Was it, like, in that center field outcrop?
Yeah, the guy... It was, like, right before that. I'm pretty sure if you look it up, like... the guy hit it 480 feet, and it was a fly out. Yeah, like look how. I mean, the guy. That's a bomb, and the guy hit it to the wall. I mean, what's it, 460, and it was a fucking fly out.
I was on God, what's Breland's show called? Fantastic Sports Show a couple months ago, and Willie Mays had come up. I forget exactly.
I think you say Willie Mays
away.
came on. I was gonna.
No,
it's a pretty good guess for.
no,
It's a pretty good guess.
He came up. He passed away recently, right, or something like that.
Yeah, that's why
I think that's why we were
corpse?
talking about him. No, we were just talking about him.
Well, I mean, look where that's caught.
Yeah. So, fun fact about Willie Mays: he got called for mandatory service, and he learned how to do that basket catch from a guy in the service when they were just like having fun, like playing base. Because there were a lot of baseball players at the time that got, forced in the mandatory
I heard it was like
military
a lot of
service.
the good players in the league, and they're all just kind of fucking around playing baseball.
Yeah, so they
and shit,
a lot of them, were. So they were just like, yeah, we're going to keep playing because we have some free time, and we don't want to get bad because now we come back from the fucking war. We want to get a contract, but I mean, these guys didn't get paid crazy amounts of money, but still, like he learned how to do that specific catch.
It's unbelievable,
during
like
his
how
service.
far he ran, and to track the ball like that. It's very impressive.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's sports science, so it's like telling you everything that you need to know about it. It's a bomb. That's a great play. I mean, a lot of people put Willie Mays as the greatest player ever. Certainly in the conversation. 24-time All-Star.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people get like hung up with like eras and stuff like that, and it's always tough to judge. I think if you haven't actually watched a player play.
Yeah, I think the best way is to see how they compared to the people of their era and how much better they were from everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think? Like, you look at our lifetime. Who's the best baseball player of our lifetime?
I mean, it's hard to
Give
say
me a
anybody
top
but
five.
Shohei
You can
right
give it
now.
top-
It's got to be
Shohei's-
Ohtani right now. If he stays
Otani's in
this
the
course,
conversation.
Like if Ohtani didn't pitch, it would still be Shohei.
Yeah. No,
I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but the pitching makes it like a no.
Yeah, the pitching
Yeah.
puts him in. You know,
because he's such a great.
Well, it's always a
hitter
hard
anyway.
argument too, because it's like you have pitchers too. So it's like, do you separate the two, the best pitchers? Do you separate the best hitters? You know, Ohtani at the end of his career could probably be in both.
It's crazy. It's like could players have done this whole time, and then the coaching was holding them back, or like, what took so long for them? Why not do both?
Well, I mean, it's conditioning
Of our
you're
time, I
working
mean,
out, like,
obviously
different parts
Bonds.
of your body. Stuff
People
like
say
that.
Pujols. Yeah, I mean, Pujols
Yeah.
is that. Pujols was fucking good, man.
Yeah.
Like Trout was
Trout
great.
was always injured though.
He wasn't though. Like he's been injured later in his career, but his first 9 years he really wasn't injured. He just started getting injured after that. But those first 9 years he was
Man,
literally
those-
fucking. He
those
was Mickey
Angel-
Mantle. He's in the Mickey.
I don't
Fucking
know if I agree with Clayton Kershaw. He was pretty good.
No.
I wouldn't put him in the top 10.
He's like a
in,
choice.
in
go
the
up real quick.
21st
Go up.
century.
Go up to his. Go to Clayton Kershaw. Let's see his stats real quick. I mean, the guy was fucking good, dude. It just like
He
didn't-
was.
his problem was the playoffs, but like, dude,
Yeah.
118 and 41 and
I
a
get
210
it.
ERA. It's pretty fucking good. I know. And he
Baseball
just
season's
didn't-
162 games.
I
So,
know,
like,
I know,
pitchers
but
play like
to do that in
40 of
today's
them.
era where the hitters are so good, 210 ERA, it's pretty fucking impressive. Honestly,
It's impressive. I wouldn't put him anywhere near a top 10 of the 21st century.
I mean, like
What about the closer for?
he's
the
not the
Yankees
guy.
that-
Rivera, yeah, Rivera's.
Rivera's definitely in there.
Yeah, I mean, like he's not the guy I would take from the past 15 years. Like I don't think I would take him for my first choice. I would probably take Scherzer. I think Scherzer was,
What about Verlander?
but Verlander struggled in the playoffs too.
Well, that's
Verlander's first like
Do you
playoff
ever
win was against the fucking.
When we're talking about
Phillies in
these
the
guys,
World
we're talking
Series.
about like their entire career, right? We're not
Yeah,
talking about
I
like
mean, yeah,
one
I mean,
season or,
Scherzer,
like,
what's
decade
Scherzer's
or
Did you ever
numbers
see
something.
career
that
wise?
Trump tweet from like 2014 where it's like Verlander's good but very beatable, high ERA in the playoffs? Not that it's
Yeah.
funnier than Trump opining on like culture, social issues before entering politics. He's like with like celebrities, like leave her, she's gonna cheat on you. Don't say I didn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Verlander pitch game one. I was in Houston for that game one when the Phillies played them a couple years ago, and he had a
Miguel
5-0
Cabrera
lead and
fucking
choked
hit.
it. And I said
Yeah.
to Doug before it happened, I was like, "It is Verlander. Verlander is known to not be good in the playoffs, and he fucking
Yeah.
choked the lead away."
Not surprised.
Dude, Miguel Cabrera was awesome.
Well, yeah, he was a fucking triple crown winner. You don't see
Cabrera
that
was
even,
fucking great.
even in this era.
People forget he was a rookie when he won the World Series in 2003 with the Marlins.
Yeah.
Wait,
He had the
Miguel
home run
Cabrera
off of-
won the Kentucky Derby.
Ichiro,
Won the hitting triple crown.
yeah, he was a jockey.
Yeah, he
He's
looks
the
like
biggest
a
jockey of all time.
the poor horse.
Ichiro, unbelievable.
Yeah, Ichiro is in there for sure.
I'll tell you what, if Ichiro played his whole career here,
Oh my god, yeah.
he could be
imagine.
mentioned as one of the greatest
Yeah.
ever.
He would have
Well,
beat Pete
him
Rose.
coming over opened the door for a lot of Japanese and like you
Yeah.
know Korean players to come over.
Daisuke
and play in the league.
Matsuzaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys.
Didn't Daisuke like suck though and not really do anything?
Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
Bonds
Barry-
is the best.
Barry Bonds probably number
Bonds is number one.
one of one.
He's never gonna get in because they call it steroids, right?
But even before he took steroids, he was a Hall of Famer. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like you look at
He
his numbers.
sullied himself with that.
Like you can make that case with like who's the guy that played for the Cardinals? Mark, the big home run hitter with Sammy Sosa era.
Mark
McGuire.
McGwire?
Make the case with Mark McGuire that like
Yeah.
steroids played the biggest impact in his career,
Yeah.
but Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he took steroids.
Correct. Yeah.
And on top of that, he got stronger and just became the best power hitter of all time, and it's not close.
no,
But you're forgetting the biggest.
he was the best hitter of
Yeah.
all time. People don't.
Yeah.
People they talk about just his ability to like look at pitches and stuff. He was a fucking genius.
He's insane.
What Maddox was on the pitcher's mound is what he was at the plate.
Yeah.
Like just a scientist at the fucking
But
plate.
the biggest snub isn't him. It isn't Pete Rose. It's the best running back ever, our boy O.J. Simpson. Just because of some few controversies about, he's still looking for the killer. Or he was until he passed before his time. But
Never found him a mirror, huh? No, Bonds for sure is 101. There's Verlander.
Fuck Verlander.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Look, I just can't put somebody in the
Alex
top 10
Rodriguez.
that's as bad as some of these players were in the playoffs. Like Kershaw, obviously, was
agree.
the first example.
I agree.
can't put Verlander in my top 10 in the 21st century. That's crazy.
I like Scherzer.
Yeah. A-Rod, obviously, another guy that
didn't he not do
was a
much in
very
the
good hitter,
playoffs except
very
against
much
us?
benefited from the steroid era.
A-Rod was really good, though, early in his career. Everyone he was skinny. Ortiz, to me, is the most clutch player that I've ever seen. He's the most clutch player that I've ever seen in any sport, I would say. Big moment, this dude just always delivered. I mean, Brady right there, too. Boston had two of the clutchest guys ever.
He's also a guy that, like, I fucking hated those Red Sox teams, but, like...
I just hate the Red Sox. I don't like fucking Boston. Like,
yeah, for sure. I fuck Boston.
But
he was always likable. Always.
I liked Manny.
Is number 10
Manny was such a
be...
dick that I liked Manny being Manny.
Is number 10 going to be Harper?
I hope
Probably
so. Probably not. There's Scherzer.
There's my guy.
Yeah.
Dude, Scherzer was so fucking good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, honestly, like, I mean, you want to talk prime for prime when it comes to pitchers. Jacob deGrom, for that short period, was fucking sensational.
Yeah.
DeGrom might have had the best prime out of anybody. Where, like, he was 9-0 at, like, a 0.57 ERA.
Isn't he still coasting off the big contract? Was it from Texas he got or something like that?
Texas, right? He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit older now, too. He's like 35, 36. Beltray?
I don't know if I'd put him at 11.
At 11.
He was very good. I mean, one of the best third basemen of all time, right? But
I don't think he's fucking... But, like, to me, Jeter's better than Beltray.
How is Jeter lower than
Beltray? What? I mean, Jeter...
There's some weird stats about Jeter. He's statistically, like, the worst defender of all time.
He's not, though. He's, like, number 40th, like, all time in shortstops, which isn't good. But, like, guy's a 5-time fucking champion. Like...
The best thing about him...
And you were talking clutch guy. He's right there with Ortiz when it comes to clutch.
Yeah.
Big moments. This is the guy you wanted hitting.
The best thing about him is he had his ladies of the night on an assembly line and then just would give them a gift basket when all was said and done. Like, probably had, like, a signed baseball in it and tickets. I don't know. Must be nice.
A lot of fun stories about Jeter.
He dated everybody.
Yeah, he did.
His lineup's crazy.
There's Mariano.
There we go.
Mariano I'd put higher.
Because look at
I hate those. I hate the Yankees. But
it's just tough because Mariano was a closer, so it's just like.
But he was striking out
the
most
when it
juiced
came
up
to,
guys of all time.
Well, then it came down to it too. Like in the playoffs, he was fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, like the longest time, his ERA was there. You go, right there.
He had 2 pitches.
There you go, right there. Post in 0.70 ERA in the playoffs is fucking crazy. He was fucking dominant in the playoffs.
That's insane.
He was dominant.
Just
in the playoffs.
crazy.
Because like it was like a guarantee that if
he's
you could make it to the 8th, you won.
2-2-1 lifetime. We're talking about a 162 game season against many teams who are not remotely as good as the playoff teams he played against, and he had a better ERA against the better teams.
Because he probably just didn't give a shit till he turns it on. He's like, all right, I was just fucking around. Now it's time.
Yeah, I mean, there is a case to be made for like pitchers to be like pushed down the list, especially like bullpen guys, because they're not. There's 162 games in the season plus the playoffs is another like 180.
But the
games,
pressure of the ninth inning's got to come into it.
Yeah, for sure. Those guys are. I mean, closers are playing 1 inning in like what 50 games a year or something like that. Yeah. Starting pitchers are playing like 40 games a year.
And not only that, he had.
There's Shohei.
He had with Rivera, Stano Rivera, Mariano Rivera probably had the greatest pitch ever in baseball.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if you were right-handed or left-handed, because if you were right-handed, it jammed you and broke your bat. If you were left-handed, it came in on you and broke your bat. He broke more bats than any pitcher ever because it just came in on your barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani always. I mean, you're always gonna have to put him because he's a fucking. He's a unicorn.
He's the only one in the 60-60 club.
Yeah.
He's the only one.
Mookie Betts. Yeah, Mookie Betts is a guy who flies in there. Mookie's great, man.
Seems a bit early for him.
Think so? 8-time All-Star, 6-time Gold Glove. I mean, 6-time Silver Slugger. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
2-time World Series champion.
You know, with a name like that, he needs
like a DraftKings I mean, I might put Manny ahead of him. But Manny's just got the steroids.
Well, it's just there's Bryce, but it's just like we're talking about since 2000, like the 21st century. Mm-hmm. All of those players, I wouldn't put him at 15. That's all. There's Bryce.
Would you put Bryce ahead of him? It's hard because Bryce has been out a lot. And he's missed a lot of time.
I mean, Mookie is one. I wouldn't say that Mookie is the catalyst.
No, baseball's the one sport where I can't look at winning. Because baseball, there's so many more factors that go into it. Clutch hitting, of course, and who's more clutch than Bryce Harper? But baseball, there's just so many factors that go into like a team winning. Because he could go off, but the pitching could stink and you lose. It's like winning. Yes, you want to win. Of course, it does help your resume, but I don't feel like it caters as much as like other sports, like football and basketball. Hockey's kind of similar, where it's like you need a whole.
You need more than
win.
one guy. A reason why I brought that up is just because I think Bryce plays a bigger role in the clubhouse than Mookie Betts does. So, like, what he contributes to a team outside the stat sheet, I think is bigger. And so, like, that would be a reason to put him ahead of Mookie. But at the same time,
you
like,
have the argument. It's a tough argument. We're not watching Dodger baseball all the time. So, and they just won a World Series.
But at the same time, like,
a big part.
It's so hard to judge these. I mean, obviously, Shohei is Shohei, but it's so hard to judge the rest of the Dodgers in terms of like their production because they're
so talented.
Yeah, I mean, they got guys like 1 through 9, and they even got guys on the bench that would start on like 30 other teams.
And who's the guy? I mean, they've even seen who's probably up in the next 5 people. Freddie Freeman. Will probably be up in this next list.
Freddie Freeman had an unbelievable postseason.
Unbelievable World Series. And he was on a fucking sprained ankle.
Yeah, there's Doc.
And Freddie Freeman was on a fucking sprained ankle, like a severely sprained ankle. People forget like that. And he had 5 home runs in the World Series.
Yeah.
That home run in Game 1 is all time for the fucking Dodger. Walk-off grand slam.
Walk-off grand slam is crazy. I mean, that's like kid shit. That's like you're in the backyard.
Unbelievable.
Like
Dodgers have had 2
talking to yourself,
unbelievably big home runs in Game 1 of the World Series in Dodger Stadium. Kirk Gibson and fucking...
Dodger Stadium's a fucking dump, by the way.
I've been there.
I
do like it is a beautiful night in like LA. It is pretty cool with like the palm trees in the background though.
Yeah, the stadium itself sucks.
It's old.
Yeah, it's old. They need
stadium.
a new one, or they need to fucking.
They can't
refurbish
afford it.
Yeah, no shit.
Burnt down in the wildfires.
Yeah, Doc, one of 7 players to win a Cy Young in both leagues, 2 no-hitters, 8-time All-Star.
Roy Halladay is like the ultimate Philadelphia Philly. It's a shame he didn't spend his whole time in here. He had to play up in fucking shitty Toronto.
Yeah.
But like, Doc Halladay would have been an all-time loved athlete, I think, if he played his whole career here.
You mentioned Maddox. He's got a. It says here he's got an almost identical rate to Greg Maddox in terms of walks and logged innings.
Oh, like listen, like he never had, and there it says right there, like overwhelming. He was never a really hard thrower. He was just pinpoint.
No,
and that was
he
the
was
big
just
thing.
Exact.
Yeah, they would just dissect you, and that's why Maddox was so good. And like he was probably very similar. It was like they just knew everything about every hitter in the lineup, their tendencies.
Nothing that I've seen in my life came close to the lineup of Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Oswalt, and then my boy Vance Worley, who is so amazing randomly.
Come on, it's Blanton. It's Blanton in the big year. But yeah, that was
Worley,
the following
fuck
year.
Blanton.
Roy Halladay trade is the one I always bring up in terms of like guys, people who think you're not supposed to trade away 1 million prospects for a player. Like, remember the guy we traded for him? I know you do. Do you remember the guy we traded for Roy Halladay? I know you do. I remember it because I bring it up all the time. Kyle Drabeck. This was a guy that like all the fans and even like Ruben himself like came out during his. He's fucking sucked. He didn't do a goddamn thing with the fucking Blue Jays.
Wonder what he's up to today.
So like, when you got these guys, I'm not saying Painter is this guy, but like if I don't know, Shohei were available like he was with the Angels, like yes, you make Painter available.
Well, it's that Shohei's a different argument.
Well, that's
because you're getting
that's
the pitcher
what I'm
and
saying.
You're getting the best hitter in your lineup.
Well, what I'm saying is like, don't be afraid to trade your prospects.
Pokemon cards, I would trade, my valuable real estate.
Mike Trout's going to be a Philly. I just feel it. Like
you think so?
Yeah, I do. I think
he
they're
had his
going to trade.
Opportunity. Fuck him. He's dead to me.
He's not dead to me. I would bring him in mid-season.
Thought that about Goudreau, and then what happened with what happened before what happened with Goudreau?
By the way.
Yeah, whenever we see
what happened before what happened with Goudreau? But R.I.P.
Yeah, but like the Flyers weren't a competitive team. There was no draw here. Right now, the Phillies are really.
They were
good.
more competitive than Columbus was when the Columbus signed him.
Well, I mean I'm just saying like the Flyers. I'm not saying Columbus was,
but
Columbus
he
needed
literally
something.
He came out and said, "I want to play for my hometown."
I know, but the Flyers are such a shit organization.
Oh, he wants to play for the hometown. Disgusting.
Flyers,
he's good and he wants to play for us. Let's sign some
Flyers.
Fucking dickhead instead.
Flyers are such a shit front office now. Like and the Flyers were my number 1 team growing up. I like just get so frustrated with them. Like that move sucked, and it's just like that's why I can't even compare the two because at least the Phillies have some aggression and they'll go out and make the trade. Phillies are competitive. I mean, Columbus just needed something. There's no draw.
Well, then here's the question: who's the bigger piece of shit, the Flyers or the Sixers?
The Sixers.
Right now, I mean, the Sixers at least get to the playoffs. The Flyers haven't been relevant.
Not this season. They're not. The Flyers have a better shot to make the playoffs
in
this
the past
season.
10 years, though. You say the Sixers.
Well, in the past 10 years, but we're talking about right now. He said right now.
But at least the Sixers go out and make fucking moves. The Sixers go out and
like
fucking. They try. I think they try. I don't really know. They bring in like all different people. They at least try and change it up, which probably has backfired on them. But the Flyers, they've had opportunity to get other players too, and just people don't want to come here, like which is eye opening.
I think with the new Briere and Jonesy taking over, I think they have a different outlook as compared to like Fletcher and Hextall
I think it's helped
how to build a team. They're doing their process era. I think that's a better strategy to win.
And I was hesitant with these guys coming in because the Flyers for years had just kept bringing in the old guys. It was like the old Flyers they kept bringing in, and it was so tiresome.
JVR on his second comeback tour, I was like,
no, I wasn't even talking like that. I'm talking front office. Like you had Hextall running as a GM, you had Clark as your GM for a while.
You got your boy Leclerc in the front office now too.
Well, I have no problem with that. But who was and then you had Bill Barber as the head coach. It was like you had it was just so much turnover with the team, and like the old guys are
Berube turned out to be a good hire for somebody else.
Yeah,
we let him
Columbus
walk.
Blues.
Or no, it was St. Louis Blues.
Columbus Blues. It's close. Blue Jackets.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
You really shouldn't have two teams.
I wasn't a Berube guy though.
There have been a lot of mistakes the Flyers have made over the years. I think they're moving in the right direction as compared to the Sixers, who are like I don't even know what to think about them, and I'm like just checked out. Like I haven't watched a game since like
I literally they're unwatchable at this point.
Well, the Flyers
Christmas I think was the last game I like watched.
The Flyers signed the Russians. Speaking of Russians, we had
Is this how we're doing this?
We had a great
great segue there, Ken. Pedro is my guy.
Yeah, Pedro Martinez was also good.
We'll get to Russia in a sec here. We can just get through these top 20. How about that?
Buster Posey.
Fuck him for making us change the rules.
Granky's
like too low. Granky was great.
Keep going. Let's see how many people are on this list. Aaron Judge.
I don't know about
too tall.
Randy Johnson is a guy who should be much higher on this list.
Yeah, like if you had
five.
If you're telling me like who would you take on this list? I'm not taking fucking
birds, pursuer of perfection.
I'm not taking fucking Kershaw over Randy Johnson.
100%.
I'm not taking
100%.
I'm not taking Scherzer. I'm not taking Verlander or Scherzer.
Are there any pitchers you would take over Randy Johnson?
Pedro's the only one.
Yeah, because of playoff performance, right?
Just regular season performance. Like I was a fucking stud.
Yeah.
3-time Cy Young winner. Fucking unbelievable.
Randy Johnson was feared. Like, there's a difference between like what Pedro was just very good.
No, I think Pedro was feared too. He was a fucking.
He was
savage.
feared because he was a psycho, but Randy was feared because he threw 100 miles per hour in an era where nobody touched 95.
Pedro in his prime threw 98.
But Randy was doing it like 10 years before.
There's 2 extra.
Well,
yes,
there is a big difference.
Well, Randy was terrifying to left-handed hitters because he threw so wide out.
Yeah,
very much like Chris Sale. Who had a very good year this past year, Chris Sale.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see him bounce back.
Well,
Unfortunately,
he
for the
won
Braves.
Cy Young over our guy.
And he deserved. I mean, Chris Sale had a great year. He was like 19-4.
He played like 20 less games or some shit like that or 20 less innings rather than Wheeler did. Well, here's the thing: is like we have to endure all the hate about Embiid playing less games and not winning MVP, and then he finally plays like something resembling a full season.
We know
wins one, and then we have to watch Sale miss 3 or 2 months of the season win a Cy Young over Zach Wheeler, who pitched in every one of his starts. You know what I mean? And Wheeler had like comparable numbers to Sale. So if we're comparing them 1-to-1, I give it to the guy with more starts.
I mean,
sounds like he got a deal. It must have been on sale.
Zach Wheeler and Harper, the two I would just want to see win it.
Yeah, Wheeler I'd want to see as much.
Wheeler's so good.
You said you want to see as much?
As much as Harper,
because he's fucking last year in Game 1, which this is why
he's unbelievable in the playoffs.
We're gonna clip this.
He's unbelievable.
This is why Rob Thompson should have been fucking fired last year in the play. There's a few reasons. I think he's a fucking clown who just he struck gold the first year, and now he's just like they've progressively gone back. Now they've gotten worse each year.
And if this is anything like we said about Sirianni, Rob Thompson better win the fucking World Series immediately after.
Yeah, the Rob Thompson hate starts right now.
Probably not. You fucking pussy. Prove it. Prove me wrong. You won't. No balls.
All right. So as I was saying about Rob Thompson after last year. Game 4, all right, Suarez gives you 5 innings. I think Hoffman came in and got through that 5th inning. It's 1-0. They're in New York. Zach Wheeler should have been coming in and finishing that game. You need to just get the series back to Philadelphia. Do anything you can to get out of New York with the win.
Was he due to start in the next game?
He was going to start Game 5. Yeah. But what do you got to win the game. It's all you're up against. Your back's up against the wall. You're on the road.
Suarez was their like not emergency, but he was like their occasional starter they'd use as a bullpen piece.
Kind of, but no. Suarez has been starting the past couple of years. Suarez was their best pitcher in the playoffs.
But like he was there. They've used him as a closer in the playoffs.
Correct.
Multiple times.
Yes.
I don't know that they've used Wheeler in that role.
No, they did. They did Game 7 against the Diamondbacks. They brought him in out of the bullpen.
Well, maybe Rob learned from his mistakes.
We pitched good.
Yeah.
He pitched good in that game against the Diamondbacks. People forget that. But, like, you bring him in there. He pitches 6, 7, 8, 9. He if he blows it, then all right, then you lose. But you got to at least give yourself the chance.
Put your
And
best
then you
player
throw
on the field.
Sanchez game 5, who pitches good at home.
Yeah, I think the problem with like making a claim that like a certain starting pitcher should have pitched an inning here and there when like it's the biggest inning in the series type stuff is we don't really know like what the schedule is for their bullpen sessions between starts. We just know that they happen, right? So like yes, you can make the claim that like he probably would have had a bullpen session as like a prep before he makes his start the next day, but we don't actually know his schedule.
But a manager should be telling you, like, listen, you got to be ready.
Yeah,
Everybody's gotta
I
be
agree. I
ready to
definitely
go.
agree with that.
Everybody's got to be ready
Yeah.
to go.
I don't know
And-
that they've used Suarez the day before his start before though, when he was used as a closer.
Well, this is different. I mean, this is different. We're
Yeah,
talking
sure.
Zach Wheeler and we're
Sure.
talking Ranger
Yeah.
fucking Suarez.
Yeah.
Zach Wheeler is the best pitcher on your roster, and if he can go and give you 4 innings, to
Sure.
me, he should have been doing it.
Yeah.
Because you got to escape with anything you can. You got to hold that 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
You get it back to Philly, anything can happen in Game 5 with Sanchez, and Sanchez is good at home. He's good
Yeah.
enough where you can win the game at home.
I can't deal with
Yeah.
this modern era. It's like, whoa, he pitched 4 innings. That was a long.
It's
like,
such
what is
fucking
this
pussy
shit.
shit. Like it's just pussy shit.
Go back to
in my opinion.
1890 where a guy pitched a complete game shutout and then it did it again in a doubleheader. Bring that back.
Go back to when a guy pitched 8 2/3 innings, got struck by lightning, and then finished the fucking game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this pussy era. Just
Yeah,
don't have
I-
to bring back the racism and segregation. We want the best players, but bring back the lack of human rights. Bring back the complete. The players get paid in like gum, and they made 25 cents, and they just do it for the love of the game. Now
Yeah.
everyone's pampered and no one does shit. It's they make more money. They'd rather be podcasters like us and contribute nothing to society.
Well, the money is the biggest part of it, right? Because of how much they get paid, players stop thinking about how much they love the game. Because if they risk their wallet, that's a big fucking risk. Like especially guys like Mike Trout, like he's been shut down a couple times. We already talked about for a season because he makes so much fucking money.
That's why hockey's become the best sport.
Yeah, because those players have never stopped giving a fuck about the game,
Yeah.
regardless of how much they're getting paid.
Yeah.
They've had the least amount of increase in their salaries over the years, but
Yeah.
hockey players are nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they care so much.
I always go back to that 10 team with like Darian Hatcher playing with a broken leg and shit like that. And,
Dude, the
and,
'87 team. People
Well,
don't
yeah,
really
of
go
course,
looking
but,
back
like,
there, they were so beat
back
up.
then the players were all doing it, but like
Correct.
2010, I don't know that many players were doing it.
Oh yeah, I mean Pronger was.
Pronger was like he had 20 injuries at the
I think
fucking
Hartnell
time.
was playing injured. Hartnell had like a fucking
Yeah.
torn his like hamstring, and he was fucking playing.
Can you imagine a hockey player with the mindset of Ben Simmons? How long would he last in the league?
He would never make the
He
league.
wouldn't
What
last a
period?
fucking.
He actually wouldn't make the league.
Because he'd get fucking. They drop the gloves and just beat the piss out of him. He wouldn't know how to
Yeah.
handle it.
Why won't you take
If
a
he
slap
played-
shot? And just,
If he played for Tortorella.
Imagine if
If he played
like,
for Tortorella, he'd get 0 minutes.
And could you imagine could you imagine if Ben Simmons played for the Philadelphia Flyers? He's got a breakaway, but he refuses to shoot. And he turns and skates the opposite direction and looks for a pass when it's just him 1-on-1 with the goalie.
So stupid. He turns every breakaway into like a hopeful
Yeah,
2-on-0
yeah. He
or
like
2-on-1.
dishes some behind the back
Ben,
fucking
Ben,
pass.
it's an empty net. Just do it.
Yeah. He would fumble the bag. Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah. No, it was. God.
All right, who else we got on this
Go
list?
Phils. Keep
Yeah,
scrolling
go
down.
Phils.
Freddie
There's
does
Freddie.
Freeman. Freeman deserves
Yeah,
it.
obviously. I think he should be in the list.
CeCe.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that. fucking
CeCe
guy.
was great, man. CeCe was
Did
dominant.
he have the longevity? I thought he
Yeah, I
had
don't
like
think he had a
a
long
shorter
Didn't have a
career.
really longevity, but for those few years where he was really good, it was
Oh, yeah,
kind
he
of
was
like
the best pitcher in baseball for like
I mean,
3
yeah.
years.
I mean, I remember when he got traded to the Brewers. You remember that and how
Yeah.
dominant he was for that second half of the year, and then Shane Victorino slayed him in the fucking playoffs and hit a
Yeah.
grand slam. I will say this: the Phillies hit him always really well,
Yeah.
and
It gave you a lot of confidence in the team when we were fucking ripping these
Dude.
best pitchers in the league type
And
players.
it was always against CeCe. Like there was other pitchers the Phillies probably didn't hit well, but CeCe they always managed to hit really well.
Is he an American or like a Dominican?
He's an American guy.
Yeah, I forget where he's from.
CeCe's cool as shit. He's like one of the guys like I would love to have on the podcast and
I
talk
don't
to.
think I've ever heard of
There's your guy,
Manny. Manny's the man. Manny
Yeah.
was so funny. Just Manny being
Yeah.
Manny. Manny was for a while the best right-handed hitter in baseball.
Look at that guy's fucking
That
stomach.
was the list.
Top 25, yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
top
ESPN.
25.
ESPN, we're not going to.
Any guys that are like, all right, we'll pause. Any guys in that top 25 you think were left out that definitely should have been there? Top 25 of since 2000.
I don't have Dan's fucking memory here.
What about Phillies? Yeah,
Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy.
Is he better than anyone on this list?
I mean, I guess you can look at the other shortstops on the list. Derek Jeter and
I guess not.
Like, is he better than?
My heart says Cliff Lee, but
Well, I mean, what I'll say is the guys that are on the list, like, I don't know, like Kershaw shouldn't be on the list.
Kershaw being number 3 and Randy Johnson being all the way at the bottom, like,
that's insane.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, that's insane. Kershaw shouldn't be on the list. Bonds should be number 1. Verlander should be further down. A-Rod, I get. Mariano should be top 5. Probably would
and
move
Beltre,
up. Sure,
get off.
Beltre shouldn't be on this list. Mookie, I don't know. I just don't know.
What about the catcher?
I don't know if Mookie or Bryce should be on this
what
list.
What about Yadier Molina?
Catchers are weird, right? Because like they I think defensively contribute a little bit more to the game than most players. But
wasn't he he was like a better player than Posey. I mean, Posey was really good. Yadier Molina.
Yeah.
No, Posey was better.
Posey was a better hitter.
Dude, Posey was an unbelievable catcher too.
That's the thing with catchers. Like great catchers, guys are talking about like Pudge and Yadi Molina and Posey. They all were like killers actually catching in the field, like murder. They were like the best in the league defensively. Posey had insane offensive number. But like
as good
Posey
as
and Mauer had some of the best offensive numbers for catchers ever.
Timeout. We've been talking about this. I don't think we ever said it on the podcast, but it needs to get out there in a clip form. JT Realmuto, he looks like the default character.
You said this before. You
said
this last week.
We said it last week. All right, never mind. He does look like it, but anyway, that's my memory.
But say it again.
Say it again so I can clip it and put a.
Go ahead, Ken.
JT Realmuto, he just looks like
talking to the mic. Let's try it again.
He looks like the platonic ideal baseball player. He looks like a default on like MLB The Show.
Yes.
He looks like a custom player.
Looks like John Dowd.
Yeah. He looks like Joe. He looks like Joe Player before
He's
you
John
fill in.
Dowd. Remember John Dowd?
No.
MVP baseball. They didn't put Barry Bonds in the game because of like allegations.
Oh.
So
he was the
they
created
made John
player.
Dowd.
Is that how you spelled it?
Or was it Jim Dowd? It was Jim Dowd. I think it was John Dowd. Just MVP baseball. No, it definitely was John Dowd. MVP baseball. John Dowd, there he is. That's Real Muto. But he literally had all the attributes of Barry Bonds, John Dowd, just an absolute legend. Like you want to talk legends of the game?
Well, I don't know.
I have 5 I can just name off. The dude from The Natural who hits that home run. Sammy Sosa for corking his bat. Benny the Jet Rodriguez, and then Rob Schneider in Benchwarmers, and the IM12 guy. Pablo Sanchez too.
List.
Pablo Sanchez. Pablo Sanchez got to be good there.
The
goat.
But
yeah.
Instead of putting Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, just put in John Dowd with that
John
picture.
Dowd.
Well,
He was unbelievable.
Bonds is going to get in.
John Dowd was unbelievable.
Is he already in? I don't know.
No, Bonds isn't in. Bonds is not in.
It's going to take all these boomer sports.
When does his eligibility come up?
Clemens should be in too. If you're putting Bonds in, put Clemens in.
Is Bonds' eligibility up?
Might be. Well, you have all these 70-year-old fucks who want to fucking decide who should be in the Hall of Fame. Fucking morons.
I don't.
Since we're just sitting here, just chirping on all time. Just look up the all-time 25 best players and see how many we could fucking top 25 or just all-time best baseball player. I mean, just see what kind of list you get. All-time is a whole nother argument. Now, Tani should probably be on the all-time list too. 100. This is 2022.
1 through 25.
They wrote this right before Ukraine was invaded by Russia. Crazy.
Christy Mathewson. I was a big Christy Mathewson fan.
Let's see how many guys we know that are, me and Ken know, I should say, because Dan's going to know all of them. There's Randy Johnson, Ricky Henderson, obviously.
Ricky Henderson just passed away, R.I.P.
Tom Seaver, I don't know who
Seaver.
that is.
You don't know Tom Seaver?
Nope.
Tom Seaver.
Cy
Hold on,
Young.
I'm going to give you. I'll give you guys
Give
information.
us the rundown
on
on
these
Tom
guys.
Seaver.
So Tom Seaver played for the. I believe he played. For the Mets. He was on the same team. People forget.
The 69 Miracle Mets.
69 Miracle Mets. People forget. Nolan Ryan was also on that team as a rookie. Yeah, they had a great run. Tom Seaver used to have so much torque on his throw, his knee would skim the ground as he came forth with his
What
release.
the fuck? His knee would hit the ground?
His knee would skim the fucking dirt. So he always had a dirt patch on his left knee.
That's weird.
Yeah, Tom Seaver really good.
Speaking of the
Cy
Mets,
Young, he wasn't bad. He threw 5,000 games.
Not bad.
You
Only
guys-
reason we know Cy Young is because the award was named after him.
you act like he's so good, he didn't win a single Cy Young. It's like fucking. That's like Lombardi didn't win a single Lombardi trophy.
Sure
fucking
didn't.
Loser.
Rogers Hornsby, that's my boy.
Hornsby. Definitely heard of that name.
Frank Robinson. Yep. Frank Robinson used to grab 10 bats and swing them.
There's Mike. We know that one.
Mike Schmidt. Should be on the list. Greatest third baseman ever. There's Clemens.
Yep.
Clemens was fucking so good early in his career. DiMaggio was great. 325. Hold on, I want to use.
Sure.
I just like looking at look at the batting average for a career. 325.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that to be
Fucking
your average.
80
I want to
war is
see
crazy.
how many guys we can like before we go into the top. We'll see before we go to the top 10. You could skim down. I want to see how many guys I can name in the top 10.
In the top 10?
Yeah.
Sure.
Trout.
There's Trout.
See Trout
There's your
over.
guy Greg Maddux.
See Trout over DiMaggio to me is a little. Go up to Trout. What's Trout's career batting average? 305.
And that was back in 20.
I mean, if you just look at the very accurate and not at all controversial WAR stat, Joe DiMaggio is a little bit better.
Yeah, I think I would have DiMaggio ahead of Trout.
more.
He's got more homers too, more
And he had
RBIs.
55
More
games in a row
hits.
where he hit fucking. He had the fucking record.
Trout's still playing, but still.
Yeah. I mean, fielding wise too. Trout early in his career was fucking sensational.
Oh my God, he was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
There's Maddux.
Maddox. They're gonna have. I wonder how many pitchers they'll put ahead of Maddox.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Griffey was so good.
like
Griffey was
like
Trout before Trout.
Yeah, but he was like a cultural figure in the game too.
100%.
Like he was a guy that like transcended his own local fandom.
So much swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, was he like the first kind or like the last real big baseball superstar? That was kind of.
I mean, Shohei's doing it now.
Yeah, I guess Shohei's the.
Last big.
In terms of
superstar?
like guys that
Because
that people would be fans of outside
None of the
of
guys
that
are like
team's fan base.
superstars like
Wait,
Michael
hold
Jordan.
on. You both were speaking. Say it again.
Wasn't that the complaint about baseball I've been hearing people cry about for years? Like, there's no real big superstars, even if they're really
I'd
good
say
at the
Jeter.
sport.
Jeter
Like,
was a pretty big superstar.
Sure.
like Michael Jordan, though, where it's
I
like,
took it to mean that like guys who are fans are a fan of that are outside of the local fan base of the team that they actually play for. Like
You
my
don't think
cousin.
Jeter was an international guy repping Jordan.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Jeter's not. I'm saying like who was the guy since Griffey that has done that. Jeter, they kind of played at the same time.
They did. Yeah, I guess you're right. Outside of it, I mean, I would say Trout probably. I think people were pretty
Because
on top of
Angels fans
Trout.
don't exist.
yeah, but I heard
Yeah.
people make that complaint about Trout, that he's like too, like, he's not that showy and big of a guy to like really qualify and like get all the attention and the eyeballs and shit. I don't know.
What do you think? You think
That might be a product of his fan base.
I mean, they all kind of played in the same era. I was going to say
Anaheim.
Big Poppy. Big Poppy was still playing when Griffey was playing.
yeah,
Pujols?
yeah,
I think Pujols
Yeah,
probably had
Pujols.
that. Pujols probably had that carry.
for sure.
Pujols
This
was so
next guy.
fucking good. Pujols in his prime was Honus Wagner,
Honus Wagner.
the most infamous baseball card ever.
Yeah,
Because you know why?
Then there was like fuck or something on the.
No, they didn't have that. It
No,
was,
no. Well, there was a baseball card where it was like it's a rare collectible because they took the picture and didn't notice till they printed it on the butt of the bat, so they just like wrote like "fuck you" on it.
so there you go. His baseball card goes for $6 million.
What's so?
It's because for one, Honus Wagner, an all-time great shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but his card was in packs of chewing tobacco, and he didn't want kids associating him with chewing tobacco, so they removed the majority of cards. So there was only like 60 in circulation. And there's the number right there, 60. That's crazy. I was just off the top of my head. 60 in circulation. And
it's become expected.
that's why it's so hard. Especially it's so hard, too, to find one that has like a fucking good grade. The grading's what makes it everything. Like, you can have one, but if it's all fucking shitty and like fucked up, it loses so much value.
Ever since the internet came out, you could just look up a picture of anything whenever you want. Like, what is the point of a baseball card?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a collector's
Back
item.
then,
the,
it's
the
just
people
like,
the people who purchase them are the ones that set the market.
Yeah, a bunch of something's worth what someone's willing to pay.
Yeah.
So where were you at? Where was he at?
He
on-
was 12.
12.
All right.
11.
We got your guy Pedro.
All right, so what's your guess for the 10?
right.
Let's
All
see.
right. So the top 10 guys ever. Can we write it down? Top 10 guys ever. Babe Ruth is going to be on there.
Yep.
Ty Cobb is going to be on there. And this is, I swear to God, I've never looked at this list.
Talking about top 10 most racist.
Walter Johnson is going to be on there, pitcher. I don't know if they'll put Pujols on there. Pujols might be on there. Top 10
Did we
ever.
already see? I don't think we saw Pujols
We haven't
yet.
seen-
So,
I'll say Pujols, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Walter Johnson.
About Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron will probably be on there.
I mean, how about the leader?
And who?
The home run leader.
Bonds?
We didn't see him on
We
this
haven't
list
seen
yet.
Bonds yet?
No.
Okay, yeah. I'm thinking of the last list. Bonds. Yeah, Bond should be on there. And who's the dude? Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn should be on there too.
400 batting average is crazy.
Yeah,
Just
unbelievable.
crazy.
Oh, what about
Well, he
Ted
never
Williams?
did it, but he came pretty fucking close. Ted Williams will be on there too, and so will Mickey Mantle.
All right, lock it in.
That's it.
Survey says
All right, here we go.
a
Stand
penis.
still.
Stand the pan.
There's Walter Johnson.
Stand the
at
pan
9.
Musial. Very good player for those Cardinals.
I never even heard of that guy. He
Yeah.
must have been great.
There's
Walter Johnson. Look up where the fuck, dude. Where was his one season? He was like 35-2. It was like something insane.
110 shutouts. That's insane. 20 more than any other pitcher.
Yeah.
When did he play? Oh, when they
Barry
fucking paid him
Bonds.
10 cents a game. Barry Bonds. It's an easy one. There's Mickey.
Yep. Mickey Mantle, switch hitter, ahead of his time. Mickey in it, like Mickey's batting.
10 WAR.
Yeah, like Mickey in his prime. You can make the argument he's the greatest player ever. Like he was so fucking good.
They must have the guy that invented switch hitting. Everyone must have been like, "Are you retarded? Like, what? Why are you doing this?" It's like you'll
Until he
see.
did it, it was like
You'll
inventing the
see.
washing
Yeah.
machine.
Why don't you try to fucking hit Randy Johnson with a fucking pitch coming from inside your hip before you or outside your hip, I should say, before it even gets to the plate.
I'll tell you what,
Tell me if you
Randy
wanna
Johnson
switch hit.
is scary. Lou Gehrig, Lou Gehrig's great too. Randy Johnson is scary, but Aroldis Chapman's fucking even more terrifying because he's way more wild.
Chapman gets up to like 105.
And he's way
I didn't even
more
know that
wild.
was like possible.
Yeah.
with
Oh,
the
yeah,
laws of
and-
physics.
Way
Yeah.
more. He has less control than Randy Johnson did.
Yeah.
I'd be fucking shitting myself.
Well, Randy
up there.
Johnson was throwing 100 before like sports science was
Randy
a fucking
Johnson was
thing
throwing
with pitching.
104. Like he was
Yeah.
throwing insane. He had so much leverage being 6'10".
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying about like with eras. You have to see how much do they just destroy their contemporaries and like.
Ted
like-
Williams. I mean, Ted Williams was fucking. He's the last guy to hit for 400 in a season.
Yeah.
Dude, Ted Williams was
If
unbelievable.
you-
And
if
he
you
left
gave-
for war. He fought in World War II as a fucking.
He
like,
fought in
fighter
Korea
pilot.
too.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll fight in any war you send me to kill.
And he still hit 500 home runs, missing full seasons.
He wasn't even like a home run hitter. He was like
And the
fucking
thing with that 400,
unbelievable.
that 400 batting average season is they're like, look, you got this locked in, just fucking sit. And he's like, nah, that's pussy shit. So he went like 3 for 4 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a goat.
Yeah, obvious. But the thing about Randy Johnson is he like, especially pitchers that are like played 20 years ago, they never got the coaching that pitchers get today in terms of like how leverage
And
and
the
all this
rest
shit
and
works.
everything,
They
yeah.
were just like, you throw the ball at home plate, and Randy Johnson was doing it. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it 104 miles per hour, just with natural talent.
Yeah.
Did we say Nolan Ryan in this list too?
I don't think Nolan should be on the list.
No.
I don't think he should be in the top 10.
There's Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb, unbelievable.
I love how he like sharpened his cleats just to like injure people.
He was a fucking.
That's some
He
real
really was
Chase
a
Utley
menace.
shit.
See, but like
Hank.
you're asking me, I would put Ty Cobb ahead of Hank Aaron. Just me.
We know why.
I would put Barry Bonds ahead of. Shut up.
There's Willie.
No, I would take Willie Mays over all of them. Did I
Yeah.
say Willie Mays? I should have said Willie Mays. I would have.
You
I mean,
fool.
so who the fuck?
660 home runs.
It's gonna
Babe
be
Ruth.
Babe.
It's gotta be
150
Babe Ruth.
WAR.
It's got to be Babe
It's
Ruth.
gotta be
Yeah.
Babe Ruth.
Babe.
He's the king until Shohei
Babe,
dethrones him.
162.7 WAR.
Look at his record as a pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just legendary to call your own home run, especially back then. We're like,
Yeah.
what's
He was
the
also
show
like
about
World
he was
exchange?
also like the Johnny Manziel, like in terms of like the way he treated games. He would get fucking plastered and like you drink
Yeah.
during the games.
Well,
Yeah.
he said, I think he had a quote. It's like, I'm not an athlete, I'm a ball player.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember too when Barry Bonds was like all the cheating came out? It was like 04. It was like I think it was his first game at Citizens Bank Park, and they had this sign. You could probably look it up. They had the sign. It was like Babe Ruth did it on hot dogs and beers. Hank Aaron did it with pride. And Bonds did it with roids. It was like right behind him in the outfield.
So they'll
Or
probably
just type in Babe Ruth, like probably like I don't know, Babe Ruth signed Philadelphia maybe. I don't even know if it would come up.
Oh, it was at a Philly game.
This is something only in your brain, and it's got been deleted from the rest of history because no one else noticed or cared, and you're just here. You are, 37 years later. Remember?
Look at this, Babe Ruth Bonds.
Yeah, I don't know. Where is it? Oh, here we go.
That's it. Yeah. Ruth did it with hot dogs and beer. Aaron did it with class. How did you do it?
That's so Philly though.
Yeah.
Because like it's not every sport where you get to like actively interact with with players during the
Yeah.
game. It's
We're
like
gonna clip
especially
this,
during
too.
the game.
Being in Philly, it's like
Yeah.
the most Philly thing ever. Over a Bud Light sign. Speaking of beer.
Yeah.
But look how many participants you would have in this sign.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. That's like 50 fucking people you needed. But
Isn't the
Philly
type of
people
energy.
were happy. They did that with pride. They did it with class. They held that sign up with class.
Oh,
This is the type of energy we need to be bringing to every single game.
Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays with the internet and these guys, and like you have to find out their vulnerabilities. Did they beat their wife? Are they insecure about something? Contact their high school bullies. Find out whatever weakness you can. We need to get this advantage.
But like an annoying thing too now with sport, like with stadiums, is they don't even let you bring in shit like that anymore. It's like, oh, that's mean, bro. Like back in fucking the '60s at Franklin Field, my man Steve told me about this. Who has season tickets to the Eagles, been going forever, and he was going back at Franklin Field. They had a Sonny Jurgensen doll hanging on a noose, and the guy was like fucking every time, like the Eagles would do something. Yeah. This guy had it over the top row, fucking just swinging it back and forth.
I just hate when you have a doll that you burn in effigy or something with a noose. Everyone immediately makes it as a racial thing. It's just a murdering thing. Like, we want all races, if they're from the other team, we want to kill them equally.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with that. We don't want to get in there. Philadelphia, our high murder rates, we would cross all colors and cultures. So just, if we hate you, you will die. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and in 1987, when the Flyers were playing the Whalers in the Cup, Game 6, J.J. Daniel scores a goal. They pan to a guy, Joe.
What cup run was this?
Just 76? Type in 1987. 1987. Go on YouTube, I would say. Just type in like J.J. Daniel goal or 1987 Game 6 at the Spectrum. Like, we need like the longer clip.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Because Brian Propp scored and he tied the game, and then J.J. Daniel. You'll see it probably pop up. Yeah, like type him right there or hit that right there because this might be it. Quality, excellent. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, they're great. Thank you. Fuck you.
Let's see if it's in here. But they go to this guy who has a little Gretzky doll on a noose, and it's like he's like hanging in front of the camera. This is the prop goal. My dad said this was like the loudest sporting event he's ever been to. They said it was fucking insanity. The Spectrum was so awesome. Like, I wish we still played in the Spectrum. It was so like little and just fucking so loud.
Some of us still play in the Spectrum and stay on it our whole lives.
What if we still had the Spectrum, like with the like rise and everybody saying they're like on the Spectrum type shit?
It'd be crazy, right?
Like every
really
fucking game.
Yeah, like
that'd be such a funny like tweet.
Like if we still
on top of the roof, like I'm on the Spectrum.
Yeah, like if we still had.
We don't see this Gretzky news sign.
Hold on, let me. I can. It's on a news sign. Keep it going. Yes, if we like still had the Spectrum, we were like we're having an Autism Foundation event there. That would be kind of fucking wild. Would be pretty wild. People on the Spectrum are attending the Spectrum tonight for.
You promised us Gretzky news.
I know.
And you didn't deliver. Well, we're gonna have to kill him ourselves to make up for this.
It might have been after the prop goal. Let me see.
Yeah, that's the end of the game.
It's Mandela Effect.
Yeah, Mandela Effect. That's what I was trying to figure out.
I watched the game like that 50 fucking times.
Yeah, that's how Mandela Effect works. Your memories stay unaltered, but we jump to a different universe. Ultimate Mandela Effect is the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia, which never existed. You know about that? Look up Fruit of the Loom logo.
That one I didn't care about as much.
All right. This is what we all remember on the left. The right is what it's always been forever.
Talking about this?
Yeah, so I remember learning what a cornucopia was because I had the Fruit of the Loom thing, and I'm like, what's that fucking horn, John?
Yeah.
My mom's like, oh, it's a cornucopia, fucking idiot. And then we turned on the large Hadron Collider at CERN in Switzerland, and we destroyed the universe. We jumped into the next most plausible one. And here's the one that really blows my mind: the Henry VIII. There's a painting of him holding a turkey or a chicken leg. This painting never exists, but we all remember it. Yeah, because there's no image of it, but we all remember a famous image of him, and it's been parodied and shit. It's been parodied. We've all made fun of it. It was bigger. It was like up here. It wasn't that. See, that they've tried to reconstruct it, but it doesn't exist. And I remember seeing this shit.
We're gonna cut all this.
No, we're not. It's gonna be premiered.
I'm not even on the mic right now. I'm so like invested now.
Yeah,
you really want to find this?
He's gonna find it. It's the first time his memory has failed him. That's another Mandela effect. He's the
this
only
is what
one
happens.
that has the memory to remember this Mandela effect.
This is what happens when Dan. This is why he knows everything and remembers everything. Is because if he is ever wrong about a thing, he obsesses over finding out he's right. He's like, everybody stop what you're doing. I got to look something up.
I know that Gretzky was actually almost lynched by Philadelphians. Just let me prove it. And then we're gonna clip
You guys
this.
ready? Here we go.
All right.
All right. Do you have
Go
the
to
link?
YouTube.
Do a like a what do you call it? Airdrop.
Would that be easier, or would just go to YouTube and type in? I'll tell you exactly what moment.
Yeah, sure.
We're gonna go to YouTube, type in Flyers, Oilers, 1987, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 6, Part 1. And
Flyers, Oilers. Whoa. Oilers, 1987.
Game 6, Part 1. And go to. We'll watch the whole clip for a second. Go to
This one.
Yeah.
This 5
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, right there, first one.
We're logged into your account, so if you're logged in Enterprise Sports, we might be right at the moment.
True. Just go to 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And we'll watch the whole. Or go to 6 minutes. Right there. I mean, we can watch the goal. It was fucking unbelievable. It was electric. And you got Gene Hart on the call, which we can't hear, but nonetheless.
Man, I wonder why the other clip was.
It was because it's a different broadcast.
No, I know.
Yeah,
but also
yeah.
look at the quality.
True. This is as Philly as it gets.
Yeah.
Daniel. Dude, this is an all-time moment in Philadelphia sports. It's a shame they just didn't beat the fucking Oilers in Game 7. So here we go. Fans are just going electric. It's fucking just electric there right now. So loud. We just took the lead. Down 3-1 in the series, by the way.
Wow, that's like the nicest
Flyers came
fan.
back. Here we go, right here. Here we go. Look at him. He's like, he's got orange hair too. By the way, this is one of the more debaucherous moments in Philly sports that's never talked about. Gretzky on a noose, and you fuckers didn't believe me.
I believed you. I mean, I
Mandela
trust your
Effect.
memory.
Mandela Effect my ass.
The problem
This
is now
fucking
I'm going to
happened.
have to edit in a thing like we do not condone hanging.
We don't condone hanging people. No, we don't. Call the suicide hotline if you're.
But
having
we
a
do
bad day.
condone abusing emotionally visiting sports athletes.
Yes. Yeah.
Getting back to the original point where we started at the Phillies game with Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron talking
Yes.
shit about Barry Bonds.
Yeah. I mean, this is as
It all ties
debaucherous as it
together,
gets.
Joe. You got a lot of
And
work
this is
cut out for
this
you
is
with
a
the editing.
forgotten debaucherous moment. This
Yeah.
needs to be posted. I need to post this. I can't believe I forgot about this one. Keep playing it. We're gonna watch him hang. We're just hanging out as he goes away. But yeah, there it is. The clip existed. He even got a little. Look at that. He
You got
probably
the
made.
fucking porn stash too.
He even yeah. Dude, the guy's got orange hair. Could we
That
clip
guy
back?
looks like such a hockey fan.
That guy looks like the most Philadelphia hockey fan I've ever seen. Look at this. This guy's ahead of his time because there wasn't a ton of hockey jerseys back then, but this guy. Look at the other people in the crowd. People were just dressed in normal shit. This guy went all out. He got a jersey.
We gotta find this guy.
Dyed his fucking hair orange.
He's so happy when he sees the cameras on him.
Look at him. He's like, let's
We got to find this guy.
Shouts out.
There he is.
And know what the funny thing is? Like, we're gonna post this clip, and some asshole will know him from
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
That's my uncle.
Yeah, cuz that's my cousin Lenny. He was fucking
That's
in
my
the game.
cousin. He always tells
He
his
died
story.
2 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. He was the diehard. That's literally what it'll be.
He
Yeah, he
fell
had
off
liver
of a
cancer. What
Zamboni.
terd his hair
I'm
orange.
just so happy I found the clip so you guys could actually see it. Because I know we would all crack up when we actually
It's a pretty
see
good one.
it.
I'm gonna have to take it out of this clip to use it so we can put it on social media.
So you
I
found
can
it?
I can cut it out. So
There you go.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
All right, how long have we been rolling?
I think we're good.
We
I think we're
got to
good.
Ukraine.
I think
We don't
that's
need that. We just have
Yeah.
sports all the time.
no. I
We've
think
been
it's
going
good. I think
for
we-
like a little over an hour.
We're
All right.
good.
all right. But yeah, thanks for checking, everybody. It was kind of we just kind of shot from the hip. I feel like today and just went all over the place.
Went all
Yeah.
over, but we got the good moment. I think the clip with him just hanging.
I think I think that's a good moment. I think we've had a few. I think the John Dowd could do well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks you guys for lilistening. Check us out.
Peace
Instagram,
out, everyone.
YouTube.
Bye.
Slightly relatable. It's not very relatable,
Thanks,
but we
Joe,
try.
again for doing a great job as
Of
always.
course, guys.
Joe's on the 1 and 2s.
Later.
Peace out, everyone.